What is going on, everybody? So today's video is just a little bit about one of the questions that I get asked probably the most about my truck, and it's just, what's your wheel and tire setup? It took me a long time to do the research and figure out exactly what was going to be the best wheel and tire setup. I looked at 6-inch lift, 4-inch lift. I used to have a level on the truck and I just got kind of bored of it. It made sense to get something that stood out a little bit more because, you know, I was already bored of just having the level. And the 4-inch lift looked pretty much the same, little different, little beefier, but it didn't stand out as much. And if I'm going to be spending that much money, I was going to get a 6-inch lift. So I ended up doing that. The next thing I needed to figure out, wheels and tires. The wheels I went with are a -12 offset on a 20x10 Fuel Maverick. The tires are 35 by 12.5 BFG K02. And this setup is the biggest setup you can go on a 6-inch lift with no wheel rub and no trimming. I looked everywhere. There's websites that had galleries and stuff to actually look up what people are running, and they're saying -44 offset wheels and no rub and no cutting. Bull. So this is in fact the biggest you can go without having any wheel rub at all and no trimming. The only trimming I actually had to do, see if I can actually get you down in here with me, is the mud flap itself. I had to just take a little corner out of it because it was rubbing on there, and the only time it would rub on there is turning the wheel sharp and hitting a bump. And I did it once where I had to slam on the brakes and turn, and it sucked the mud flap up into the wheel well, so I had to just beat it out with a 2x4, and then I decided to trim it. That's the only cutting I have had to do on my truck. So that being said, you probably could get away with doing a little trimming on the crash bars. They don't rub unless you slam into a driveway or you get a heavier set friend of some sort. Not even a heavier set, you just get kind of a medium set friend, and then you get a tire rub. That's how close this setup is to rubbing, with not rubbing on a regular basis. You can drive around all day, not rub anything, and be fine. And then you put someone in the vehicle and then it rubs. Handy. So I'm currently waiting for Carson. I'm gonna get him to kind of turn the wheel and stuff so I can show you guys exactly how close it is to rubbing. And I'd like to showcase a little bit of the wheel and tire setup and how it actually looks and how it fits. It will be a pretty good comparison with Carson's truck too, because he's on a level which my truck used to be on before I did that. So it'll be a pretty good comparison, as kind of like my before and after, and you guys can kind of see exactly how the difference is made from this setup to his. I got Carson here now, and he's got his truck here. What setup are you running on yours? You're running a level, right?
Yeah, 3-inch level, I believe.
A 3-inch level?
Yeah, from the dealer. I think you could do a 2 1/4 or 2 1/2 or a 3.
I think I did 2 1/4 was the one I used to run on mine, but 3-inch level.
Yeah, I think I'd have to check again, but
oh well, still
close enough.
It's close enough. So,
yeah.
But and then what size tires are you?
And 275 60 R20s.
Okay, it's exactly what I used to be running on mine too.
Yeah,
so it's pretty much the exact same setup.
But I'm going to be switching them up soon.
Yeah? What are you getting?
305, 55s.
Oh yeah?
20s probably.
Yeah.
Works up to a 33, 12 1/2.
You can do any cutting, or are you going to lift it more?
Nope. Should be able to fit it on stock,
Yeah.
or with the level anyways. Could with the last truck.
We'll see. It should work, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
A little. There was a little rubbing on the last truck, but the tires wore down a little, and that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was like my setup before. Mind you, my mud flap was also... Oh, you can see his mud flap, how thin that is. My mud flap was about this thick all the way back, and I didn't have a kickback.
You didn't do kickback on yours?
No, and with mine, it just fit. I was dealing with millimeters of space before it was actually going to rub.
That's when you rip them off.
Oh yeah, probably. You hit a right bump and off they go.
Oh yeah, or you back into a snowbank.
Yeah. Speaking from experience.
No. Friends have done it though.
Yeah. No, well, thanks for driving my truck.
Yeah, it was fun.
You're one of the few.
I was a kid in the candy store with that one.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, I got 6-inch lift kit. It's a zone lift kit. 35 by 12.5 BFG K02s and 20 by 10 -12 offset Fuel Mavericks. That's what my setup is. That is the biggest you can run on a 6-inch lift without having any sort of rub. Unless you get somebody in the passenger seat, then it'll start running on the crash bar a little bit. I had to trim my mud flaps, but that's it, and that's minor. So other than that, there's no cutting. And if you don't have to run mud flaps where you're from, you're fine. So we have to here. So
you have to run. You can only fit -12 on yours for offset.
-12 before it'll start rubbing. -24s, I believe, will start rubbing just a hair at full crank.
At full crank, but how often are you full crank?
Not very.
Yeah,
so it'll be really close.
Yeah.
And we got cops here. Yeah.
The zone lift isn't that the sisterhood or the child BDS or BDS?
Yeah. So zone is built by BDS in the same factory and everything. The thing with BDS is it costs more, but you get a little bit nicer design. It looks a little prettier underneath, and you get a better lifetime warranty. You get no questions asked warranty. So if you take it off a jump or something and you bend a bunch of stuff, and if it's your lift kit that you bend, then they will replace that. With zone, it's lifetime warranty, but something has to go wrong from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So something has to fail on it. Not that you take it off a jump. Something has to like just break on its own kind of thing. So, yeah. And that's why I decided to save the $600 or so, and I went with the zone. Yeah, the guy that owns the Platinum is going to be the cheap one. Yes, I know. So. Okay, well, thanks for driving the truck. Yeah, we'll do something again like that when it comes to the exhaust video. And you've got the same muffler as I do, don't you not?
Yeah, I think so. Same muffler, just different piping out of it.
Same muffler, different piping, so you can see what the difference is between a 3-inch piping all the way through, which I have,
and I have a 3-inch to the muffler and 2 2¼ out.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference actually. So,
but also with the intake too, because you don't have one, I don't think, do you?
I do not have an intake. That's another thing I would like to get. So, but those are all things to come into the future. So,
yes.
Thanks again.
Anytime. My pleasure.
And until next time.
Until next time.
Right on, man. Thanks.
Yeah.